Welcome to the video, guys. The unmitigated disaster that is the Labour Party under Jeremy Corbyn is continuing even though he's left. As today we have news coming out that a leaked report into Labour's anti-Semitism issues that was commissioned in the last month of Jeremy Corbyn's leadership. So I think you would agree, a little bit suspicious, as many other people have pointed out. But we will start with The Independent, who of course is a Jeremy Corbyn loving outlet. It says here, anti-Corbyn Labour officials work to lose general election to oust leader, leaked dossier finds. Calls for investigation into possible misuse of funds by senior officials on party's right wing. So this 860-page report here is making a bunch of claims, including that right-wing officials within the Labour Party worked against Jeremy Corbyn to stop him winning a general election, which, from what I've seen, is not actually the case. They wouldn't have been very happy with him winning the election, but they didn't look to out and out stop it, from what I can tell. It says here, Labour Party officials opposed to Jeremy Corbyn worked to lose the 27 general election in the hope that a bad result would trigger a leadership contest to oust him, a dossier drawn up by the party suggests. No, apparently this was drawn up by a bunch of Corbynistas in the last month of his tenure, by the looks of it, to shift the blame away from him and his supporters and onto those who have called him out. A huge cache of leaked WhatsApp messages and emails show senior officials from the party's right wing who worked at its HQ became despondent as Labour climbed in the polls during the election campaign despite their efforts. The unreleased report, which The Independent has seen in full, was drawn up in the last days of Mr Corbyn's leadership and concerns the conduct of certain officials, including some who were investigating cases of anti-Semitism in the party. Because now they are trying to claim that there was no anti-Semitism and this was all just a ploy to smear Jeremy Corbyn, which you will hear from the Momentum lot has cost him 2 elections, they claim. Not the fact that it's Jeremy Corbyn we're talking about and he's an unelectable fuckpig, just that they have been smeared by everyone, including the media and the Labour Party itself. The 860-page document claims that an abnormal intensity of factional opposition to the party leader had inhibited the proper functioning of the Labour Party bureaucracy and contributed to a litany of mistakes in dealing with anti-Semitism, which it admits was a serious problem in the party. Which is countered further down in this article, but we'll move on to a Times one to take a look at what that has to say on the claims that this was a desperate attempt by Corbyn and his team to shift the blame onto someone else, which I must admit it really does seem like. A month before you're due to step down, in the middle of the extremely long leadership campaign to replace you, you decide to commission an 860-page report, blaming everyone else but yourself. I'd say that certainly seems a bit suspicious, wouldn't you? Which has been pointed out here. Anti-Semitism smear campaign by allies of former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn's allies have been accused of a last-minute bid to smear whistleblowers and discredit allegations of anti-Semitism in the Labour Party during his tenure. An extensive internal investigation carried out during the final month of Mr Corbyn's reign concluded that anti-Semitism was not properly dealt with because of factional hostility towards the former Labour leader, which I'm sure you will have all picked up on and probably laughed at by now. Corbynistas complaining about factional hostility has to be one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my life. What have we seen for the past 4 or 5 years from these people? Factional hostility towards anyone that doesn't agree with their lunacy. Doesn't matter if you're a Labour, Conservative or any other voter for that matter. If you don't agree with them, then you're essentially the devil, which I think you would agree is literally the definition of factional hostility. Critics of Mr Corbyn have rubbished the dossier as an attempt to imagine a vast anti-Corbyn conspiracy, and called for it to be sent to the Equality and Human Rights Commission, which is investigating Labour for anti-Semitism. The report, leaked to Sky News, claims to have found no evidence of anti-Semitism complaints being treated differently to any other type of complaint, or of current or former staff being motivated by anti-Semitic intent. Instead, it concluded that a hyper-factional atmosphere at Labour HQ and lack of robust process, systems, training, education and effective line management prevented any effective handling of the issue. So, in true Corbynista fashion, blaming it on everything but the dear leader. The report has not been submitted to the EHRC because the party's lawyers feared that it would damage its wider case. But Gideon Falter, chief executive of the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism, which sent the original complaint to the watchdog, has denounced the file as a last-ditch attempt to discredit anti-Semitism allegations and demanded it be handed over for consideration as part of the inquiry. Which, I'm not sure if it's just there to discredit anti-Semitism allegations. I think it's more to discredit everyone that's gone against Jeremy Corbyn and shift the blame onto other people, which is something we have seen many times from the Corbynated chicken, his team and their rabid supporters. They have to defend their dear leader by attacking and smearing everybody else. You know, Corbyn's kinda gentler politics. In the dying days of Jeremy Corbyn's leadership, the Labour Party appears to have invested in a desperate last-ditch attempt to deflect and discredit allegations of anti-Semitism, Mr. Falter said. The report specifically criticises former party officials who gave whistleblower evidence to the BBC's Panorama investigation into Labour's anti-Semitism, including the ex-General Secretary, Lord Nicol of West Kilbride, and the former head of complaints, Sam Matthews. It is said to have been compiled after its authors trawled through 10,000 emails and thousands of private WhatsApp communications between former senior party officials. Though the author was not named on it, I wonder why. Mr. Matthews told Sky News that the dossier was an effort by a disgruntled faction who are floundering in their attempts to blame others. Lord McNichol said it was a petty attempt to divert attention away from the real issue. Sir Keir Starmer has apologised, rah, we don't care about that. Sir Keir Starmer, as far as I'm aware, actually hasn't said anything. And neither has his top team. Now obviously, being the Labour Party, and the fact that it's absolutely full of snivelling shitweasels, we of course have number one race grifter Ash Sarkar, complaining somehow that this has something to do with BAME people. I'm not sure where she got it from, but this dopey bin is definitely used to reaching, so I suppose we shouldn't be surprised. The number of BAME people, in particular black and or Muslim people, who've said they won't be voting for Labour after this, should worry at Sir Keir Starmer and team. These are committed young leftists, your core vote and activist based. Trust needs to be rebuilt, action must be swift. Now, if anyone in the comments can let me know what the hell any of what she just said there has got to do with this situation, I'd be interested to know. But the committed young leftists she's talking about, core vote and activist base, really did a lot of good in 2019, didn't they? You're in a dream world and literally just race grifting on this post. I'm still struggling to figure out what this has to do with BAME people, in particular black and or Muslim. This is talking about anti-Semitism. And naturally, Owen Jones being a whiny little bitch as usual, if there'd been a leaked report revealing senior left-wing Labour officials willing its electoral destruction, engaging in horrible bullying and failing to act on racism, it would be front page news. I'm pretty sure it has been front page news many times. That's what Corbyn was moaning about when he said the media are against him. So rather than trying to unite the party as Corbyn said he was going to do before he left, along with of course figuring out why they lost so badly in 2019, it actually appears that he just commissioned a report to try and shift the blame for everything during his tenure onto other people. Which, I have to say, is really not that surprising. It's kind of what we've seen for the last few years at least. Now before I go, I've started doing live streams and uploading gaming content on my second channel. If you would like to come and join me for a live stream to chat in real time, have an interest in gaming related content on YouTube, or just want to follow me over there because you are a legend, the link will be down in the video description below and as a pinned comment. I hope to see you all there. Now as always, before I go, I want to thank our PayPal, Patreon, Subscribestar and YouTube members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot. And I will see you all in the next one.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires. And that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.